Yes, people. Welcome back to GNA TV. I hope you all are well. I'm your host, Jem. Let's cue the intro.
Don't know how I'm here, and it's you that I want to need. Feel your heartbeat. Feel somewhere you're looking good. Feel your heartbeat. Feel somewhere you're looking good.
Yes, people. Welcome back to that afternoon show. It's the Prem show. I'm joined by two of the originals on the Football Terrace. Mr. Kai, how are you?
I'm good, my man. I'm good. How are you guys?
Not bad, brother. Not bad. Monster, how you going, bro? You're muted, bro.
You don't hear me?
Yeah, I can say it. Talk.
Barely hear you.
You hear me?
Yeah. That was it.
It might be the position of my mic. Can you hear me? Yeah.
Yeah.
How you doing, boys? How's your afternoon?
I just woke up not long ago, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fair enough. All right, boys. We are going to talk about every game from the results, and then obviously the game tonight as well. So we're going to start with the Brighton. No, we're not. We're going to start with the Brighton and Arsenal game yesterday. Man, they win again. They're now 6 points behind us. Should we be worried, Monster?
Yeah, we gave them the confidence. What did you expect they were in such bad form, but they only really needed one win to start picking up results, innit? And we gave them that win, unfortunately, innit? And this is what's happened. So don't be surprised if they go on a run. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, Kai, how you feeling about Arsenal? You worried?
I said it. We can't just keep hoping for teams to draw points. We need to look at ourselves. I've said it since the beginning, man. And now it's biting us in the backside, man. You know, it's the same thing with United yesterday. People were like, "Oh, they're gonna draw a point." They won, and now they could potentially be 7 points ahead of us at a very, very busy period. You know, and City also has 2 games in hand. I gotta be honest with you, man. I'm worried, man. I am worried with what's going on with it, because we've been relying on teams dropping points, but so far teams are starting to accumulate points above us, man. It scares me. A lot of teams still have games in hand, man. Arsenal are if we lose to City, they go 3 points behind us, and they have a crisis, man. Apparently.
Do we think that Arsenal are over the whole relegation fight phase now, or do we think that they could easily slip back into it, Monster? What do you think?
They were never really gonna go down, if we're being honest. If we're just being honest, that was just banter at the end of the day, innit? But it's a thing where it just takes one small run, and they could be close to us or even go above us, and they're going on that run. It's up to us to pick up our form. It's a scary one because we're playing Man City, and I think we're playing Leicester next, right? And I think we got Wolves as well.
We've got Wolves, we've got Fulham.
Spurs away as well.
Yeah.
At the moment, like, if I'm being honest, and I'm not trying to be negative, I'm just trying to be honest with myself. The games I can see us winning is really just the Fulham game, but Man City, Leicester, Wolves, it's tough, man. Like, I haven't seen anything from Chelsea to say, all right, we're going to pick it up. Do you get what I mean? We're just not. It's not about just losing. It's about how we're playing as well. We're not playing well enough to say.
We'll come to Chelsea, Monster. Don't worry. We will definitely come to Chelsea. But in terms of Arsenal, obviously Aubameyang's back in, Saka's playing well, Martinelli's been a bright spark for them. Do you think if they can keep them 3 fit that they can possibly get back in the top 6, or do we just think they're going to be a mid-team table, Arsenal?
It's mathematically, it's still possible for them to get back in top 6, mathematically, innit? So I don't know. I don't want to say they're not going to get there, blah blah, because mathematically it's still possible. But if they finish above us, that is not going to look good. That's all I got to say.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, they don't, mate. Honestly, I don't think I'll be able to cope with Gal, Adam. Who else have we got? Any of them? DT. Can you imagine them? Oh, forget that, bro. Honestly. Moving on. Did anyone watch the West Brom Leeds game? Because I didn't. All I just saw that it was 5-0.
Yeah, I just looked at it. It was like 3-0, 4-0, 5-0. I'm like, oh man, Leeds. They either win 4 or 5-0 or lose 5-1 or something. That's how they play it, man. Just
Yeah,
like, you know, just run around
they
like
only know
headless chickens, chase a ball, man.
they only have one style of play, and it's just attack, and it's just attack and hope, and just hope
Yeah.
that they don't get, you know, they can outscore teams and hope that they can win that way, and that's the only way that they tend to get through games. In terms of West Brom, do we think they're definitely getting relegated, Monster? Are they finished even with Sam Allardyce?
Yeah, probably. Yeah, you know what? Allardyce is a specialist in getting teams out of relegation, like, but they could possibly go down. Yeah, I don't know. I can't say anything definitive this season. Like, do you know what I mean? It's just too tough to call. Like, things are not. It's just tough. It's tough to call anything right now.
Yeah, it definitely is. And this news from Daniel, was it true? Because I've not seen that. Alonso going to Atletico Madrid.
Yeah, I
I've
saw a
seen
lot
it.
of reports about it. Yeah, it was reported by, I think, who reported it? Was it Fabrizio Romano reported it, and a bunch of other people as well.
Yeah. Fair enough. Well, at least we make some money on him. Must make what, a good 15, 20 mil.
I'm
Yeah,
hearing
apparently. Did you hear about the fallout he had with Lampard? He was like, he went to the team bus like
that's
directly after
been
the
happening
game.
though. Like, that's old. That's not new. Nothing new. That everyone knows about that.
Yeah.
Anyone watch Southampton West Ham? Boring 0-0. Did we expect Southampton to beat West Ham in that game, or is it just, you know, West Ham?
They're both teams on the same level, if you ask me.
Yeah. Southampton. Nah, I think Southampton is better than West Ham. I think Southampton has a very good manager as well, man. I really rate him highly. You know, the football they play is also very, very nice.
He's doing bits there, and with Danny Ings and Shay Adams and etc. They've got a good. They're a team that have actually got a system, and it works for them. Do you know what I mean? Like they know what they're all doing on the pitch, and they're playing well. So, you know, big up to them. I didn't watch Burnley Sheffield United, but again, that was a battle of the bottom, wasn't it? Really, and Burnley come on top.
Yeah.
Again, well done to them. There's not too much to say. Let's move on to Man United and Wolves. Were Man United lucky yesterday, or was it just that they were resilient, they never gave up, and they've got people up front that are clinical enough to finish the job?
Yeah, like you said, they've got people up front that are clinical enough to finish the job. They won. Like, I'm not even going to try.
It's not lucky though. People say it's lucky. They're just trying their best not to lose. They're very determined to pick up points. I don't think it's luck because they do it more than once. It's not like the first time they come from behind too.
I already asked you guys on not the last show, but the show before that. I said if Oli wins these outstanding games, what did I say? I said, is he doing a better job than Lampard? And you know, we all had the responses or whatever. But you know, I said already, like, people are not looking at the bigger picture. They had a game in hand at the time. They were 2 points behind us. If they had won the game in hand, they were going above us. They have a good team. Them and Man City are probably going to take the top 3 spots, if you ask me. And it's down to the rest. Whoever's going to take the 4th spot: Chelsea, Everton, whoever in it. Do you know what I mean? That's what I think is going to happen this season.
Yeah, it's anticlimactic, isn't it, man? I thought we were going to be in a title challenge. Not winning the title. Obviously, I never had that hope, but I thought we were going to be like, you know, like clearly in the top 4, top 3. You know, it's kind of disappointing, but it is what it is. You know, we move, man.
Do we agree with the gas that a lot of the football terrorists, Man United, Mandem, are saying in terms of they believe that 21 is on the cards and they think they can compete with Liverpool? Do you see Man United actually going all the way and actually?
They have the squad. The squad. Like,
anything could happen, man. To be honest,
they have a serious title contending squad, if you ask me.
No, that's fair enough.
I think we have a better squad than Manchester United, if I'm honest with you.
Our midfield is not as good as theirs.
Midfield's one of the best, I'd have to say. But then you say that, look at their front as well. I mean, Rashford, he's only 22, 23, and look how many goals he's scored already, man. Do you know what I mean? Like, immense. Greenwood's looking like a prospect. Martial, okay, he's a bit of a flop at the moment, but again, he still looks dangerous when he comes on the pitch. Cavani.
But then with Martial, what happens if he does what he did last season? Where, remember last season he picked it up at the end. And he goes on that mad run. What happens? What happens then? That's a scary thought.
Yeah,
it is. And you know, look, I heard something about Virgil van Dijk's going to be back for Liverpool as well, didn't we? I mean,
it could be at the end of the season.
Yeah. In terms of Wolves, how impressed have you been with them so far? Do you think they've played very well, or without Jimenez as well, their top striker, they seem to be getting results? All right, they lost yesterday, which they should have drawn in my eyes. But you know, are they a top 4 contender or a top 6?
top 6. I think
Top
Nuno
6.
is good, but he's not that good to get them like the top 4 spot. But they're doing very, very good with the squads that they have. I think Nuno is a very underrated manager. You know,
Yeah.
his game management is very, very good, man. He's very, very good. Like his record against the top teams as well is very impressive.
I agree with Kai 100%. And again, he has a system that works. They don't really concede many goals, do they? They're strong at the back. They're good in midfield. They'll know what they're doing. And then up front, they've got Neves, who I'd love to have. Not Neves. It's not Neves. Neto. Sorry, Neto, who I'd always love to have at Chelsea. I think he's quality. And they've got little Prudence as well. Prudence, is it? Prudence. Yeah. So you know, a good team, very organised and very, very hard to break down. Going on to today's games, we'll start with Tottenham and Fulham. What are we thinking? You think less than a Tottenham win, or Fulham going to give them problems?
No,
Should
Spurs
be.
win.
Should be
Spurs
a
win,
Tottenham
man.
win.
Spurs win.
Well, Fulham have been turning up recently. Though. Look what they did to Liverpool. Do we not think that could happen again? Or
Yeah, it should be a win though. They should win. Like I don't know, they should win that game, but we will see in it. We'll see. It's tough to like right now. I'm not even the biggest fan of predicting things.
Master is sad, man. He's out of everything, man. My man is sad as hell, man.
He's completely gone the opposite.
No,
Yeah,
do you know what it is?
It's
Do you know what it is? Yeah, it's the abuse that Chelsea fans are giving me. Like I'm responsible for Chelsea losing. Do you know what I mean? I know what I said at the end of the season, but we can all agree that a successful season would have been just progress.
Top 3, yeah, progress from
progress.
3,
Even if we got 4th place, but if we got a better points total, that would have been a good season. If I'm not wrong, like
yeah. Look, I'm saving Chelsea for last. If you noticed, because I know we're going to be talking non-stop about them, 100%. But to lie about that, on Twitter, I've actually spoken to some people that have come out against you, Munster, and kind of not put them in their place, but just told them, and they've kind of understood to a degree. But again, we'll talk off air about that. Liverpool, Newcastle. I mean, Newcastle got no Callum Wilson. They seem to be dead without him. Doesn't matter who's playing up front. Other than him, they don't seem to score goals. Is it a Liverpool win, straightforward? Or do you think they'll give them problems?
Yeah, Liverpool win.
I can say a Liverpool win straight up, but then you saw they drew West Brom, they drew Fulham
as well. Yeah, they haven't been that good, Liverpool. But
it's tough. Yeah. It's tough to just say anyone. Like it's so hard to just say anyone can win, man. Like predicting in this season will leave you with an egg on your face. Do you know what I mean? Because it's so tough.
So up in the air. You just don't know what's going to happen there.
You say that, Monster, but I feel like the top 4 is already starting to like separate itself from the rest. You know,
I don't think it is.
Don't you? I honestly do think. I think City have games in hand. I think City and United are gonna start separating themselves. Same with Liverpool, man. It's gonna be only one spot for the bottom top 4, man. That's it. I think that's the one we will get.
You could say the top 3 starting to shape up, and then the last.
Yeah, top three. Yeah.
Is going to be.
That's what I'm saying. Like top 3 are separating, and it's only like the last spot for top 4. But do you want it to be that way, man? Do you want it to be like 2 points between everybody for top 4? Then basically at the end of the season, one of us like lose or draw a game, and we end up at 7th or 8th because the point tally is not that high. And you know it could happen this season, man.
But I don't really think we should be looking at points tallies too much, because it's just a weird season. People are dropping points, gaining points. It's very up and down at the moment. It might only be 1 point separating it. It might only be 75 points in total. Do you know what I mean? That someone's leading, or 70 points, and that would surprise me. Don't get me wrong, if it was, but
no, man. I just became pessimistic with the last few weeks. Man. I'm just like inflated with all this. Like honestly, I'm just so sad about this whole.
Is my mic on and off? Is it on and off? Can you not hear me clearly?
Yeah, we can hear you fine, man.
Can hear you. I just want to fine. Yeah, we can hear you, man. We can hear you. I just want to talk about City. I know that the Everton and City game got cancelled. I'd like to just quickly speak about them two teams as well. Obviously they're building up some game in hand, City, aren't they? And Kai's just confirmed that Chelsea are playing City on Sunday now, so that will go ahead.
It's according to some the new Premier League thing. They said that there's not going to be any break. They said that they didn't talk about it. It's not going to happen. At least for the next month, it's not going to happen. So we have to play football game. I know you guys don't want Chelsea to play, but we have to play. This is how it is, man.
Play, bro.
In terms of Man City, do you think people should not forget them because they seem to be picking up a bit of form again? Do you think they'll work their way back into the the battle of the title? Do you think?
I think
Or-
City this January are gonna spend, man. I think they're going to spend.
Yeah,
I think
don't-
they're going to spend on a striker, and
don't forget
they're
them,
gonna
man.
improve that team, man. It's City
Definitely
after all, man.
Forget them. Definitely don't forget them.
Yeah, don't forget City, man.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Especially
they-
now with Fernan Torres picking some form, man. That guy is impressive.
and defensively they are looking solid. Like,
Yeah, but I said it in the beginning. People are like, "Oh, Diaz is overrated. Look how good he is now. Look at his numbers, man. Jesus Christ."
Yeah, it is what it is. And to be honest, you can't write them off. They've got a great manager. They have got a good squad. It might not
And
be as
money.
strong at the back as
And money,
everyone.
Jim. Don't forget the money, man. Don't forget the
And
money.
they've got
They do have
money,
that
yeah.
money. They have a transfer window coming up as well. You know?
Yeah, exactly. Everton, again, doing very well under Ancelotti. Are we really surprised? Ancelotti, at the end of the day, he's a
Yeah, it's
quality.
Uncle Ancelotti, man. He
It
does
doesn't matter
everything
where he
perfect.
goes, he gets the best out of teams. And I miss the guy, man. He's the guy for me. If we're going to get rid of Lampard, he's the one I want the most. He's the top of my.
His football, man. His football would suit our team perfectly as well.
It
But-
would. It would. Do you see Everton getting top four? Or do you think they'll eventually sort of slack off? Because at the moment they seem to be playing quite well,
I don't
don't
know,
they?
man. I don't know.
Yeah.
You can't really, you can't separate them from the top four because I think for me they're playing as well as anybody else in the top four.
yeah, the difference between us and the problem. I mean, where I'm scared is that the difference between us and these teams that we're going to be competing with in that top four spot is that they've got experienced managers, and I think that will be this season will be the it factor in terms of who gets those positions.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
experienced manager does matter at the end of the day.
Sour Clan, yeah. Well, ignore these. I don't know what you're talking about there, but when is ads and when is ads next upload, Gem? Tonight we're doing the ads and Gem show at 7:00, so you will see ads tonight. Yeah, I think Everton are looking good, and under Ancelotti, they should really make top six, even if they don't make top four. I think they've got a good enough, squad. He's getting the best out of them, but it is what it is. Let's talk Chelsea, shall we? We know we want to talk about them, so let's talk about the game. Let's just talk about them in general. Let's try and stay away. I know it's hard to stay away from it because we talk about Lampard a lot, and we have done on the Chelsea show here, there, and the other. But let's try and talk about the players in general. And like, obviously, Kai put up an image today about Werner and Kai Havertz moaning about they're not happy with the system and the style of play and that.
Yeah, but let me clear on that, Jim. Sorry, if you let me. Bild came out with a report saying that both Havertz and Werner don't think that they're gonna develop their game under Lampard, and that he's not good enough of a coach. But that could be not him. It could be just Bild, because you know how much Bild love their German players. So, but
Yeah, I agree. To be honest, I ain't reading too much. I'm one that don't listen to media a lot. Like a lot of times when something's going wrong, they tend to always add on top of the negative that we're already in at the moment to build a story, and that's what media companies do. That's their job. Do you know what I mean? So at the end of the day, some are true, some are probably true, but most of it's usually bullshit in my eyes. How do you feel about it, Monster? Do you read into the media a lot or not? Not really.
I don't, because obviously, like, I don't really read into the media a lot, but then it does make me think, like, with the way they're performing, could that be the case? It could be true, like, just based on how they're performing. They don't necessarily look the happiest right now, if you ask me. So
it's Trevor, man. It's Trevor. You have Trevor on the show, man.
Trevor.
You told me, man. I'm gonna use it, man. That's how I'm gonna call you from now on, man.
Let's not get into that conversation because it didn't end very well for someone, did it? So,
Indiana, just quickly, I know we're just jumping on Chelsea. I just want to go back quickly because Indiana's a Man United fan. How do you feel about your performance? Your win yesterday, and do you put yourselves as title contenders now, or is it just step by step with Man United?
I don't put us as contenders, but we are in the race. If Man United drop points and Chelsea gain points and they end up 2 points off of Liverpool, Chelsea are in the race. That's very different to. It's very different to saying you're title contenders. I mean, Man United is a very weird fan base. It's very strange. It's just weird. You have Ollie out and you're completely against anything Ollie does, and it's all the players. Ollie's going to fail them at some point, or you're Ollie in and the squad isn't good enough. So you feel the players are going to let you down, or you're in between and you're just sitting back and you've got no expectations. And this league's weird. Honestly, I still believe it now. Frank could do a run like Ollie did last season, and you could be back in the race. You just don't know with this season. You're silly to try and call it, I think.
Indiana, look at Monster right now. Do you see Monster? Look at him. Do you want to give that man more false hope and make him even more sad than he is now?
Monster's a flip-flop anyway, because he's the guy who said we're going to win the league, and then he went on to Frank needs to go. And if you start picking up points again, Monster, you're gonna be on the we can win the league again.
Yeah.
You're very much in the moment. You're very much reactionary.
Can I answer to that to the Will comment? Because I actually listened to the podcast. Yeah, I actually listened to the podcast, and people misquoted him, man. In the podcast, what Fabrizio Romano said, he said Chelsea are backing Lampard as long as the result pick up. They didn't say he's nowhere near sacked. They said they're backing him, but there's an improvement that has been expected from him. If you remember Mourinho before he was sacked, like a week before he was sacked, do you remember that comment they made? Oh, the club is. Do you remember that statement that came out?
That's normal, though. That is normal. No.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So they're not gonna give the media anything, man. So don't expect anything like being,
No, Monster, we can't hear you, bro. Your mic's gone. No, I can't hear you. You're gone.
It might be safer anyway after what you said this season.
Wait, you still can't hear me?
Yeah, we hear you now, man.
Yeah.
Okay, let me now reply to what Indiana said. Yeah. Freaking remember, I did say we're gonna win the league and blah blah and blah blah. But
you did, yes.
What did I say is a successful season for Chelsea? This is what you're misconstruing. What I said does not mean anything else is not a success. I said as long as we progress, so third place is a successful season. That's realistic expectations. A successful season is progress from last season. Do you get what I mean? Yeah. What I'm not seeing is progress. That's the problem. If I could see progress, I don't care that we lost to this or that or blah blah. But I'm seeing progress. Do you get what I mean? If Lampard doesn't finish top 4, that's a failure.
Not for Nini, it's not, man. That's for Nini.
Yeah, for Nini, it's not a failure. But that is Indiana. Am I right in saying if Lampard doesn't finish top 4, it's a failure?
Firstly, I don't really care about Chelsea. You know, I don't. They're not my rivals.
So if you don't care, give an objective answer. Yes or no?
Yeah, I can because I think you have to put it into context. Like when you look at this season, because you've been on such a bad run. Yeah. If you came back and you're getting consistent results compared to the rest of the teams in the league, right? Yeah. If you get on that same run and you end up finishing 5th, I don't think you can say it's a very successful season, but I don't think you can say it's a bad season either when you put this season into context. I still expect you to get top 4. I still think I think if you finish 4th this season, although it's the same position you finished last season, I think that's progress because you've added 6 players in, and this season's so up and down. I do still think that's progress.
Yeah,
I don't think Roman is.
You don't think Chelsea finishing 5th place is a failure? That is a complete failure. You spent 200 million plus. You've added 200 million worth of players onto a team.
Depends how it happens. Depends how it happens.
But that's not how football clubs see things, Indiana. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter that way.
Well, it must be in a way because I don't be telling me they signed Frank to win the league.
No, but they signed him to top 4.
Indiana, we're not talking about winning the league. We're talking about
progression.
Yeah, but that's part of it. If there's expectations from it, don't get me wrong. I do think if Frank doesn't get top 4, he's gone. I actually believe they've already got a manager lined up for the summer. Anyway.
Yeah, I think so too. I think
that's it, and that's why Frank hasn't gone. That's
all right.
It's not that type of season for Chelsea.
Let me ask you if you were a Man United fan. If you were a Man United fan, you did what Chelsea did last season, and then on top of that, let's just say you lot finished 3rd last season. So you finished 3rd last season because you actually finished on the same points as Chelsea. So it's kind of very similar, isn't it? Now this season you spent 250 million pounds on players worth of players. You've got experienced players, you've got young players in. You've got a mixture. You finished 5th next season, this season. Do you think that's a failure or not? Do you think that's a failure?
Yeah.
Do you think that's
a failure? You signed Sanchez, all the guys that you wanted originally, that all they wanted.
Yeah, but if we sign Sanchez and you can't put the ball in the back of the net, and he's and
Yeah,
still.
but
It is that you have to put.
But the board is not going to look at it this way, Indiana. The board is not going to look at it this way.
No, they're
man.
not.
Yeah,
But
exactly.
I don't care what the board's thoughts are. You're asking for my
Indiana,
opinion.
you're moving
asking for my
goalposts, man.
opinion.
You're moving
No,
goalposts,
not
my
at
man.
all. You're asking
are,
for my
man.
opinion and what I see as a season and what I see as a whole picture. You're not asking. I know what Chelsea's board will do. They will sack
Yep.
Frank. You will get another manager. If
Yep.
that's
So what's the
if that's
context?
how you want to look at football, then everyone should just stop streaming, stop having opinions, and just wait for those answers to come along.
So Indiana,
from the
what's the
board. Do you know what I
context?
mean? Like,
Indiana, what's the context in which you will keep him then? In that case,
who Frank?
yeah, or any manager, just any manager, just in that with that scenario. It doesn't matter who the manager is.
With this scenario, I would look at Frank being able to turn the season around. I think that's massive.
No,
You
but
end-
we are talking about if
Hmm.
we're talking about if the season ended and he finished 5th
Yeah.
or 6th or wherever, just basically outside the top 4.
But if he was on the same points as someone in 4th and it was like goal difference.
I
But
still wouldn't take it.
at the end of the day, if you don't get top 4, Frank's gone. I think Frank's gone if you get second. I honestly
No,
think
I
there's a
don't
manager
think so.
lined up.
I don't think so.
I do. I think this is a bedding in season for these players you just brought in. Like Rome's not stupid.
Yeah. Do we think that if he is going at the end of the
Yep.
season, whether it him finishing in the top 4, outside the top 4, winning a trophy, will it be this man, or do we think it's someone else?
No, I think it'll be
It's gonna
Tuchel.
be Tuchel.
I'm almost 100% sure it's going to be Tuchel.
I can see it.
Yeah, because
I can see.
of the 2 German players that they invested in. Plus, he speaks French. A lot of our players speak French. He speaks English very well, and he speaks German. So he can like communicate with the whole squad in a better level than Lampard does. And people underestimate the power of languages in football, man. But look at Mourinho. The reason he's been so successful. Look at Pep. Yeah, these guys can
Arteta
communicate.
should
With them.
be flying then, no?
But what? Arteta can speak a different languages. I thought you can only speak Spanish and English.
No, I think he can speak 3 or 4. I'm pretty sure he knows.
So
he can
it-
speak a few languages.
He's as intelligent as me then.
Wow, I don't know about that.
Trevor, man.
I think my problem is that my problem is that with the Chelsea fans, they can't see past Lampard being a legend. Like a guy said to me, because he's a legend, he deserves 7 years at the club. But people don't. They're not being. Do you know what I mean? They're not being objective in that sense.
But
Sometimes
there
you
must
have.
be an excuse then, because you've seen me on the Chelsea show. You see that I see things in a different way to you guys.
You do, Jeff.
obviously.
You do, but a lot of the guys don't. Like a lot of the people, they don't see it in an objective manner. Like even the biggest Chelsea YouTubers. You saw Kai yesterday. Nini said if he doesn't
Got
get top 4,
destroyed by that girl, man. It was amazing.
do you get what I mean? You're not looking at it fairly, because if this was Sarri or whoever, you saw how they treated Sarri and he won a Europa League and took us 3rd place. You're not necessarily looking at it from a fair perspective. People are saying we are disgraced because Lampard's a legend. We're not treating him blah blah. But actually, we're treating him as equally as we would treat any other manager. Do you get what I mean? And that's the problem, because people can't see past Lampard a legend. Lampard a legend shouldn't have anything to do with Lampard the manager.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm gonna
You know
be
what would
honest.
be funny? You know what would be funny if Roman does decide to sack Lampard, right? You and I, Monster and Jim, we would still respect Roman because what if you have done for us? But I can see a lot of Chelsea fans turning on Roman, man, after that decision. What do you guys think?
I think
If
it's
he made that
spoiled.
decision,
I think it's spoiled. I think
Yeah.
I think actually what's going on now is a very spoiled attitude, and I can say that
Sorry,
being a
just
Man
a second.
United
Can I
fan.
just say, breaking news that Tottenham game has been called off due to COVID. Is that a big surprise?
No.
Probably not.
no.
Let's be serious. Go on, Indiana. Sorry, go on, mate. What are you saying?
I just think the fan base is spoiled, and I can say that being a Man United fan. Like we won everything there is to win, and there's a huge Ollie in, Ollie out debate thing. I see it. This is what's going on right now. Is exactly what happened with Ollie and the Ollie in, Ollie out. You allow agendas to cloud your judgment and not see the bigger picture. That's why I can see it more. I can see it more clearly than you can, because I'm not emotionally invested. I'm not at all.
Yeah.
I can see massive comparisons between Ollie and Frank when they came
I
out.
agree with that.
You
I
said
agree
it,
with
Indiana, but Ole is a lot more flexible, man.
Okay, you see,
You say that.
Indiana,
A lot more
what
flexible,
you're
man.
saying is true, yeah. But one thing is, number one, if we're being honest with you, there's 3 managers in the league who didn't deserve to be where they are. Like, they didn't deserve to get the job in the first place. Lampard, Arteta, and Oli. You got to remember, these are Chelsea, Man United, Arsenal. They're the top 10, probably top 10 biggest clubs in Europe, right? They're in the top 10, top 20 biggest clubs in Europe. Yeah,
if we include Chelsea, otherwise we're talking top 7, top 6.
Yeah, stop it. But yeah, they're top clubs in Europe. Lampard, Arteta, and Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. Even though Ole has been managing for 10 years, those 3 managers do not deserve to be there. Like, if we're just talking based on merit, based on their CV or whatever, they don't deserve to be there in the first place, innit? Now, with Ole, the one thing I think with Ole, is that Man United fans, I hear what they're saying, because Man United is what, the first or second biggest club in the world, probably second after Real Madrid. With Ole, I've seen progression. So I've seen a slow progression with Ole. First season, he done well. Obviously, it was he came in halfway through the season.
He didn't have a good season at the start, though.
You're missing it.
But hold on. He finished 5th in his first season, right? Was it 5th or 6th? Where did he finish?
In his first season,
I think it was 5th.
He finished
6th.
5th or 6th.
I can't remember.
In the second season, he finished. Was it?
Third.
He finished 3rd. This season, it's looking like he could well finish 3rd or 2nd. So there is a progression. Do you get what I mean? So in a way, you can say,
because Lampard finished in Champions League last season, and we still ain't finished this season yet.
I know. I'm saying at the end of the season, though. Give him to the end of the season, because I feel at the end of the season. I'm not saying get Lampard out now. You've never heard me say get Lampard out now. I've always said end of the season, innit? Now I'm saying if there's no progression at the end of the season, does he deserve to stay? Because you can't tell me that if he doesn't do as well as he did last season, you can't tell me he's done a good enough job to stay. Because it's not about winning trophies this season. I know what I've said. To me, I've always said from the beginning, a successful season would be progression. We've all said it. We said, Jem, you've said it with your own mouth. Kai, you said it. We said if he goes further, so he finishes 3rd or gets a better points total than last season, that's a successful season in the league. We're just talking about in the league.
Then, can I just say something to you? 2 seconds, right? If you said at the end of the season that whatever he does, he's gone. Yeah. So if he finishes 3rd, let's just say he finishes 3rd. Yeah. He finishes 3rd. We don't win anything. In my eyes, he's progressed from last season because we finished.
That is a progression. You are right. So that's a progression.
Would you still keep him or would you get rid of him? That's what I'm trying to understand.
I'm open to being wrong. So the reason why I'm saying this is based on my projection, what I feel is going to happen at the end of the season. So I don't think he's going to do as good as he did last season from what I've seen, because what I'm seeing is he's not like with it. I'm seeing it from a tactical standpoint. From a tactical standpoint, he's playing one way. He's very predictable. So teams are not. I remember we said it against. Who did we say it against? I think we said it against Wolves or Everton. We said Lampard's been found out, and since then, where we said Lampard's been found out, he hasn't changed. He's played exactly the same way.
Can I add to that?
That's what scares me. What scares me is that he's not going to change it from then on. He's going to keep playing.
We don't know that yet, do we? That's the thing. We don't.
Well,
that's
why I'm saying it's my projection.
Yeah, no, that's fair enough. You're going,
that changes. The problem is, Monster, that changes into there's one style of play, into there's no style of play, into we only play one way. Frank can't get these players to do that at all now, and that's a slippery slope. Like, this is a bad spell for Chelsea. Don't get me wrong. Like that the statement
it was coming, Indiana. I said it.
Of course it was. Like, that's normal. It's football. It's especially this season. This is the weirdest season. I think to sort of like jump on managers' backs this season is madness. It's just crazy because how many, Monster, you yourself, how many results have you predicted this season? The same as you do every season, the same average?
This season I can't predict anything. It's just
that's
crazy.
What I'm saying to you. That's exactly what I'm saying to you.
Well, Indiana, with what you're saying, Indiana, is true. But I know this season's crazy, especially because of COVID. But we're not the only ones going through that. Everyone is. Everyone is. So my thing is, my issue is not that we're losing. My issue actually isn't that we're losing. My
Not
issue
everyone
is,
thinks 7 players.
yeah, my issue is not that we're losing. It's my issue is the way we're playing, our tactics, the way Frank Lampard's so stubborn, he's refusing to change
The
things up.
flexibility, the flexibility scares me, if I'm honest. It
That's
scares
the
me,
problem.
man. It scares-
That's what scares me.
Indiana, it scares me. One thing I admire about Oli, that a lot of people underestimate him and underrate that quality of him, is his flexibility with the formation and his flexibility to build a team that gets the best out of the players. Lampard doesn't do that. That's what scares us.
Yeah, and also
Oli doesn't care who you are. If you're Pogba, if you're whatever, he's gonna move you out of the team. Lampard doesn't do that.
yeah, what worries
He
me as
doesn't
well
do
is
that.
that what
Is
worries
that-
me as well, Indiana, is that we've in towards the end of the season, we know it's going to be a rat race for the top 4. Yeah, the issue I have is that other teams have experienced managers who have been in the trenches before. So they've got Ancelotti, they've got this, they've got that. Barring Oli, they've got managers who've been in the trenches who could get them out of this. Whereas we've got a young manager who's proven to be very naive and very stubborn, which could end up costing us. Do you get what I mean?
Can I ask you though, because
And the pressure on him as well. If you look at the way he's behaving in the last, dealing with the pressure on him now, like the amount of stuff. I saw an article that he said today. He said like we are very ahead since the Hazard sale. I don't even fucking know what that means, man.
Can I just
I
say
don't know what
something?
that means.
You might not notice it, and it might go the way. Look, I'm not Lampard generate. You know that. I've said that for ages.
Yeah, we know you are. Yeah.
I want to see more of it. But do you not feel like you guys may be setting yourself up for the same issue as Man United fans had with Oli going back to the early last season when they all wanted him out? They said the systems were crap. He wasn't getting the best out of the players, and then bang, it changed
But
very quickly.
Oli is flexible, Jim. That's what me and Monster were telling you. He changes the team based on that. Lampard
There's a
doesn't.
possibility that Frank might do that, though. We don't know yet, do we?
But
We don't
I
know.
hope he does, because none of us want to see him fail, but we're worried about our club and where the direction we're going now. I'm sure Monster would be happy if Lampard would do well. Same with
Is
me.
that-
Of
But
course.
the
Can I-
fact of the
can I
matter is,
ask-
it's not happening, man.
can I ask, do you think, because what I've heard the stories before about Abramovich wanting certain players to play. Do you think there's any pressure from the board? Like more pressure?
I know
more
what you're
pressure
gonna say,
normal? No. To play certain players, and in doing so, and in playing certain players, he's gone about it the wrong way and only implementing one system for those players.
I don't think so, because he was willing to. I'm not saying. I think he was right to drop Kai Havertz, and he's dropped him. He's dropped him. Do you know what I mean? So I don't think there's any pressure on him to play anyone. With Werner, it's a thing where he has to play Werner on the wing. I get that. He actually has to because of the injuries, and I get that. So I don't necessarily blame him for the Werner thing. So in that sense, I think he can choose players as he feels, as he wants. I don't think he's under pressure.
No, I'm not saying. Yeah, but you haven't had all these players fit at the same time for many games. Maybe all of them. I don't know whether they've all been fit together.
You see what I mean? What you're
but-
saying is,
But do you know how many players
What I'm
Ancelotti
saying
has
is
out
he
for Everton, man?
implementing a system for these players that suit these players? Because Werner, for me, is a system player. I think to get the best out of Ziyech, you have to play certain systems. Because
I think every player is a system player,
like
man.
no, not every player is. Players,
Every player is, man.
top players are adaptable. Trust me.
There's
but
a way
what-
to
Indiana,
utilize
what you
every
said is
player's full
correct,
strength.
yeah.
What I'm saying is he putting that system in place for those players, and then the other players that come in, for instance, like a Mason Mount in Ziyech's position, is not going to perform like Ziyech.
Exactly.
No.
Yeah, yeah,
Indiana.
But
exactly.
what I'm
Indiana.
saying is he's the only coach in that position because he feels too much pressure to do that from the owners and the board because of the amount of money that's been spent.
Indiana,
Even when you
you're
look at it,
saying
it's a Frank problem. It's a Frank problem because he should have the balls to be like, actually, no, we can't play this system without these players.
Exactly.
They're not in
That's
it.
what-
I
that's what we're
get
saying.
that. But is one of the problems the board and the owner or whoever it may be saying, we want these players to be starting, we want them to be playing, and so he's
There's-
feeling
that
too
that
much
was
pressure.
the case. But Indiana, if that was the case, Kai Havertz would be starting, and Lampard
Every game, yeah.
has dropped him
Yeah,
for some.
you say that, but he's obviously not ready at all.
Yeah,
So
but
he-
if
he's
the
not.
board were pressuring him, he would have been starting him regardless. He would have been starting him. But what
I
you're
don't
saying,
agree there. I don't
what
think they would.
with what you're saying in terms of playing players a certain way that other players would suit, if you're a good manager and you know these players don't, you've seen it from 1 or 2 games. It's happened in many games. Even when we were winning, Chelsea were against Crystal Palace where we won 4-0. That result didn't actually tell you how the game was because we were quite bad in that game. The same thing in the first half. Same thing with the Burnley 3-0. We were bad in that game. I remember when Frank Leboeuf had gone on ESPN and said, even though Chelsea had won those games, they actually didn't play well, but they ended up getting the result. Same thing with the West Ham game. Same thing with the Krasnodar game. If you know these players don't suit that system that you're trying to play because your players are injured, a good manager would do what? He's going to switch it up. You can't force players to play in a system they're not good at.
To a little extent, is that the reason I think Lampard was so naive in his formation up to even to now with the 4-3-3 is because prior to that, yes, we went 70 match unbeaten, and we can't forget that we did. We went through a stint of form which was working. Now, yes, we weren't playing great at certain games, etc. I get that, but do you not think he just thought, "Hang on, we're winning, we're drawing. We've got this formation. Once we get our players fit and they come back in, I can slowly bring them into this formation. Why change it?" I could actually kind of understand why he's a bit naive with this formation because for him it's worked for 17 games up to that point before we'd lost the 3 out of 4 games. Do you get what I mean? So I find it hard to just sit there and say it's because of his formations, his tactics. It hasn't ever worked. It worked for 17 odd games in his eyes. We might not play the most sexiest of football, but we bought God knows how many players, and they needed time to gel anyway. So who would have expected them to come in and be this great, great
because
team?
when you think about it, Jim, the end of last season for Man United, the start of this season, and now where Man United are, it's the same system that's trying to be. It's still like the Ollie ball. It's still the same system. It's still the same tactics. It's still the same patterns of play.
Okay, this is where I'm going to catch you, lot. The way we played last season and this season, it's not the same system. It's different, completely different. So
then he's forcing it to adapt to the players you've just brought in, who are obviously not ready. And I'm not having this. I'm not having it because I see Werner make those movements. He makes those runs. He gets in the box. The patterns of play work when he does that. He just doesn't put the. Here's the thing: if Werner was finishing, if he was finishing those chances, you'd be in a very different position. You wouldn't be having this conversation. But the actual coaching part, the patterns of play in the movement, when to make your runs, where to make them from, are working. It's when he's in the box, he doesn't put them in the net. Havertz is a different thing completely. His head's not even in the game. Like, he can't make a 5-yard pass right now. So he's just not ready.
Yeah. Look, at the end of the day, I feel like we all still need to see more from him. I know there's a lot of people that want him gone now. I hear you. But there's a lot of questions that haven't been answered still, Mike, and that's why I just can't.
Who wants him gone now? Like, who wants him gone now?
Kai.
I don't. But if top 4 becomes difficult to get, I do want him now because I want what's good for Chelsea. I'm not gonna risk it.
You can't tell me Lampard doesn't get top 4. He should not be gone. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I agree with that.
That is ludicrous in my opinion.
I don't want him gone now. I don't want him gone now. If he can prove me wrong and he changes the team and we start picking up points, we stop getting top 4. Because if you remember this, guys, right? Last season we lost 12 games and I wasn't happy with it, right? Because I spoke to each of you individually, but never even at one moment have I said Lampard out, even though I wasn't happy with the performances. But now this season I said I will judge him differently because he no longer have the kids excuse. And I don't like all this excuse. It's the gelling, blah, blah, blah. I don't care about all that crap because the matter is we're not the only team who have new players. Everton has more new players than us.
Facts.
And they have more injuries than us, and they're doing better than us.
You say this, Kai, but Chilwell's doing all right. Thiago's doing all right.
Reece James.
Yeah, but okay, don't play those players against Villa. We didn't play those players in the end. We still failed.
What I'm saying to you is that because I'm talking on the back of that build report right?
Yeah.
Because that for me is a scapegoat. That's weak. That is very, very weak for two players to come out and say this when other signings are performing and improving. Whether you give me that's defensive players, attacking players, that's also bollocks in my opinion. I mean, you either perform or you don't. When a player can't dribble with the ball, there's a player problem. They're just not ready for it.
Yeah, but that doesn't matter. Do you think? Yeah, let me ask you this.
You don't throw the manager. You can't throw the manager under the bus when you can't perform individually.
Let me tell you this. Do you think Lampard need to take out all the players and build a new team from scratch based on the results that we'll be getting lately?
What?
Like build a completely different team. Like take out Mount and start like from scratch. Build a new team.
I think
based on the fact that we're losing.
I think if Havertz was up to scratch and ready to play, Mount wouldn't.
No, I don't. No. Lampard, he's the only player who haven't missed one game since like for 2 seasons now.
10. He doesn't get played as a number 10. You ain't going to get the best out of Havertz.
But do you think we need Indiana? That's why I'm asking you.
Jem. I don't think it's his fault. He's 21, new country, had COVID. He's young, adapting to the Premier League.
But Indiana,
we know not all players adapt straight away.
Answer my question. Do you think Lampard need to do that? To start like from scratch, build a new team, a new formation, try something differently.
No, I'm not sure I understand the question or why you're asking that.
Like take out. Like does he need to take out Mount and try to build a whole different team with different formation, like something completely different, not what we're trying now? Because even when we tried Giroud up front, we're still not winning games. So it doesn't matter. We need to try something a whole revamp of the team of the 11.
No, where Frank's faults lie is being adaptable, is being able to change the system when those players aren't available.
But isn't that the point of a good manager, though?
Plan B.
Yeah, no, I agree with you there. It's where you say everything is his fault. That's where I disagree with you. And I can say this because again,
but I never said everything is his fault, Indiana. Master, have you ever heard me say everything is his fault?
But
no one's necessarily blaming everything on Frank. A lot of our players haven't performed.
I'm not gonna lie. Every time it sounds like we're always talking about him constantly as a fan base. Lampard.
It's cheaper to replace the manager than to replace the players as well. That's what happens.
The manager gets the blame. This is not just at Chelsea. This is at every team in Europe. That's how football is. The manager is responsible.
Because players need to be responsible as well.
This is not what you're saying. Indiana or Jem. What you're saying is nothing new. It happens at every team in the world. Do you know what I mean? Managers get the risk because they are in charge. It's the same thing with a company. With a company, you choose the person who is in charge takes the responsibility when things go wrong.
The middle manager always takes the responsibility.
What do you think Frank's targets were?
I think those were his targets. I think Kai Havertz is a player that Frank Lampard wanted. I honestly do think.
No, I don't mean transfer targets. I don't mean transfer targets. I mean his managerial targets.
Oh, in terms of by the board.
Bear in mind, this is an ex-player who was brought in from Derby, who did fuck all with.
That's not our problem.
I think last season
you accept. It is. No,
it's not. Once you accept to manage Chelsea Football Club, you are given a budget and you accept those standards. Those are the standards. No, we're not gonna move goalposts for him, man. I'm sorry. That's not
I'm not moving the goalposts for him.
You are, man. You are.
Yeah, but you
can't change the standards for Chelsea Football Club, man. We cannot just change them just for him, especially. We can't. We can't.
But if that's the case, then why have they brought Frank Lampard in as their manager?
Because we had a transfer window and no other manager is going to come here.
No. What are the goalposts? Is what I'm asking you.
I've said it to get top four, to keep top four, to get top four and maintain top four.
Yeah, Indiana. I definitely think.
So he's not off that.
I definitely
that's not over yet, is it?
I definitely think that
so far it looks like it is. You already started point ahead of us. You're winning the game in hand.
Jem, can you hear me?
Yeah, can hear you, bro. Yeah.
I definitely think last season he had a free hit at it. So even if he didn't get top four, he probably would have got away with it, innit? This season though, I think there has to be progress on what he did last.
He has to compete. I get that.
And that's the only season that I was actually criticized of him. Last season I didn't criticize him once.
And definitely not getting top four is
it's a problem. I agree. It'll be a problem. I'm not condoning that. He needs to get top four.
Whether you're looking at it from a financial point of view as well, because we spent 250 mil. Champions League money is about 100 mil. 80 to 100 mil, just being in the group stage alone.
Yeah.
there has to be some kind of return on the investment. So not getting Champions League football, you can't tell me that's definitely a sackable offense. And in most teams, in most big teams anyway, it's a sackable offense. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like what Lampard got this season, a lot of managers will be praying for that kind
To be
of
fair to
investment.
Indiana, he does think he's not going to stay like at the end of the season.
All got to bear in mind.
Yeah, no,
Lampard-
that's why I'm saying to you, what have the club asked Frank to do? Because
To maintain top four.
This is Chelsea Football Club. So if they had an ambition to really compete for the league or really compete for cups, they are not bringing Frank Lampard in as manager. So that's why I'm asking you, what are his targets? Are his targets we didn't have a transfer window, so Frank's come in?
Let me answer that. Yeah, let me answer that, right? I think he's been given, number one, we've got to bear in mind, he was given, going into the season, the board have made a decision that he's going to stay and they're going to, invest this ton of money with all these great players and they're going to allow Frank Lampard to try and do what he needs to do. I think the reason Lampard's here this season, I think he probably will see the full season, is to try and mould them, set up a system. Do I think Lampard's going to be the manager for the next 4 or 5 years? Probably not. I don't know. Do you know what I mean?
That's what most Chelsea fans are thinking. I saw people saying that if he gets us relegated, he should still stay.
No, because of the way we run. The reason I said that is because of the way we run.
Imagine Roman Abramovich at this moment, like we play in the championship, man. And
can I be honest
like,
with you, Kai? Can I be honest with you? I would actually prefer to stick to one manager and have him run through 4 or 5 years of.
I'm the same, just not Lampard, man.
Not maybe winning the title every season, but win, and then we come second, but we were there, and then we win, and then do you know, like be there.
But don't you rather have a manager who already have done it, who have already won a trophy, been given that opportunity though?
And he's there for 1 year, and he wins the stuff. He goes into his second year, and he's not as good. And then again, we get rid of him, and then someone else comes in, and then someone else, and that's just getting boring. I know it works for us, and we've done that for so long.
Sorry, Jim.
You know what I mean?
Okay, can I answer that? Let's say you had like a leak in your house, and you just had a plumber. This is his first time doing the job.
Back.
It's the first time he's doing the job. I used the surgeon too many times. I decided to switch it up, Indiana. It's you know me, man. I'm a flexible guy. Anyway, so it's this first. You have a really serious issue with your plumbing, right? And you have this plumber. It's the first time he worked the job, man. He doesn't even have his tools yet. That's the first time he did it. Would you keep that guy, keep working that job when you can see that he doesn't do it, or would you have somebody who has an experience doing that job before?
I can answer that. What if that plumber then becomes moving forward becomes the best plumber in what he does?
But would you have it? Would you have him practice it in your house? Doing that plumbing, you know how much plumbing costs you?
Yeah, no, you can't use it to that. You can't use it to that.
Well, there you go, my man. That's exactly my point. Like you need to understand.
He then goes on to be absolutely the best of what he does in the next couple of years. Because
maybe, but I don't want him to ruin the plumbing in my house because I don't have £50,000 to fix it, man. It's the same thing with revenue, man. Football is Indiana. Can we agree that football is revenue?
Yeah, of course it is a business.
Yeah, so there you go. You can't just like play with money. Champions League is a lot of money, man. Plus the player attractions, all that stuff. You're not gonna get that with Europa League. Look at Arsenal now, man. Look at the players they're linked to, man. Look at the players they're linked to, man.
That's true.
Look at AC Milan. Look how huge they are. Can we compare Chelsea and AC Milan? It would be stupid, man. But look at the players we're attracting.
Not right now.
Yeah.
Not right now.
No, I mean like
trophy-wise.
trophy-wise.
Oh yeah, history-wise, no.
History-wise, look at them. Like 7-time Champions League winners. I think only Real Madrid has more. And look at the kind of players that they're able to attract. No, they have 7 Champions League.
A manager's performance on a season, not on
Let me finish my point. Let me finish my point. Yeah. Look at the type of players that we can attract compared to AC Milan. Yet AC Milan is a bigger club. Why? Because we're in the Champions League and they have been in the Europa League for so long. It's the same thing. We cannot just play with our future of the club given time to Lampard. I want Lampard to succeed. I wouldn't mind having Lampard back after he has 5 years someone else perfecting his craft. But he cannot just practice it on the job with us, risking everything that we have worked for. You know what I mean?
How do we not know that that's not going to be the case? Like, this is my point. How do we know that the next?
So far it is. So far it's proven that way. That's the issue, though. If he proves me wrong, I'll be happy. But so far it's the case.
Right. He wins his next 8 games and he draws 2. Then what?
Then we'll keep the blind faith in him, man. But it doesn't.
See, that's what I'm saying.
But it's blind faith. 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 It's like being in a relationship with a girl who constantly cheats on her, but you're like, I'm gonna give her a chance, but she does it. She does it again. Same thing with Frank. We had a few losses. He said, "Oh,
then he can't win.
we'll do better this time.
No,
And then
he-
Aston Villa
here's the thing,
basically,
Kai.
like Indiana said, we dropped 2 points.
Yeah, but he can't. Then he can't win.
Indiana, give
Why
him the
can't he
example of Aaron, what he did, and based upon what's had going on with United up to now. We know Aaron don't like Ollie.
Oli
but
is
you've got-
flexible. Oli is flexible. Lampard is not. I like
No, but
Oli. I
he-
think Oli was
Yeah,
a good
but
manager
he-
when they first got him, man.
He was not
Yeah,
always
but there's also United fans who are Ollie out, but they're very much Frank in, and not because.
Well,
not
obviously because they want to get the Champions
no,
League instead of us, man.
No, not at all. Because they can see things in there, like the actual players are a big part of the problem, not being able to perform. Like I can, I'm not Ollie in or out, but I can see the players aren't performing. I can see that when you can't make a 5-yard pass to the man next to you, that's not a tactical or system problem.
You say that, but I remember the players under Pochettino when they were like not fighting for him. I remember Harry Kane doing sitters. You know, even Alan Shearer. I read yesterday. I read like an article.
We just made my point. There's a mentality problem then.
The Athletic, yeah, because they're not happy with the manager. But that's a completely different point. The Athletic, right? Alan Shearer made a report there. He said one of the most important things for a striker is confidence.
Yeah.
You can start missing sitters if you're a striker because you overthink things.
Agreed.
According to Alan Shearer, he said that he thinks Timo have very good movement, but the issue with him at the moment is confidence. He said it's the same thing that happened to him. He was missing chances when he doesn't have confidence, and that's one of the best strikers in the Premier League history. I rather take
by numbers.
The best, exactly. So he's saying like he needs confidence. Lampard
I
needs to find a
agree
way
with
to get that confidence going for Werner. That's why I'm saying it's the responsibility of the coach. I'm just saying when a player is unhappy, there is issues.
But it's not always the manager, Kai.
I'm not saying it's the manager though.
No,
I'm
this is
saying
what
I
I'm
want to
saying
see
you.
him fix
I
it,
think,
Indiana.
I think some players just struggle to adapt. Look at Martial now. He's really struggling to find the back of the net.
Yeah.
But Man United are in second. That is a confidence problem.
That's
That
also
is
a
a
good manager competent as well. You have always a good manager. He's the 4th best manager in the league for me.
yeah, but he's not. But Martial's not performing.
He wasn't
Even,
last season.
even though.
But I'm not mentioning one player though, Indiana. I'm not mentioning one player. I'm mentioning the whole team is not performing for us though.
But what I'm saying to you is where Frank is at fault is not being able to either stand up to the board and say, no, I want to build different. I want to try different systems, or these players aren't going to work right now. I have to bleed them in slowly, whatever it may be. Or he's choosing. Because I've said to you many times, you put Timo Werner out for a game, you might make him hungry. You start playing players like Mount in Havertz's position, change that system, and then bleed Havertz in slowly into that. You might get something out of him this season. I agree with you when it comes to not being adaptable in the system.
But that's a big role in a manager's job though, Indiana.
Yes,
it's not like
I
a
get
small
that.
thing.
Yeah, I know. I understand that, but it was working for you at one point. You were winning games at one point.
You know
But
what's the game we won?
What I'm seeing is player problems. I'm seeing massive player problems.
Yeah, but Indiana. You know what's our most convincing wing this season was?
No, I don't. Really...
The Sevilla game in the Champions League, and you know why that team was successful? Because he utilized the whole squad and Mount was out of it. Why? Because he built a team around those players. He didn't build it based on Mount. That's why I'm saying he need to take out Mount and build a whole new team and try something different. But that's my issue with Lampard. He's not trying something different. For him, Mount is the first player I pick, and that's something I have an issue with. You should pick a whole team that complements all the players and their strengths.
I get that.
Boys,
that's my whole point with him. I wish he would just change, and then I will be like, okay, Lampard, you proved me wrong. But so far, he's proven me right.
Just
flexibility is very underrated thing, you know, for a manager, in my opinion.
31 of you guys in there are still at the moment. Please share, retweet, subscribe, do your thing. You know what to do. Appreciate you all here with us currently at the moment. It has been a very heated discussion, as usual, to do with Chelsea Football Club. Indiana, it must feel good it not being United for once, eh? And Ollie,
actually, it's not. It's not actually. It's really sad that football fans are so reactionary right now. Like it is. It never used to be like this. Football never used to be like this. It's a real FIFA mentality in football right now. Like quick fixes, like finger clicks. It just doesn't happen. It just doesn't happen.
Yeah. Yeah, I know.
You remember United under Van Gaal, man? You guys were howling him out, laughing at his age, but all of a sudden you want to give Chelsea like, we're the classy fans or whatever, like Arsenal fans when they were getting bands and airplanes on top of like the Emirates or whatever. All football fans are the same, man. You have
that's what I
standards.
just said.
Unless your
exactly
team's
what I
like
said.
Newcastle or whatever or Leeds, like fighting to stay in the league, you have standards for your club because that's what you grew up watching.
Right.
You can't
We've done it now.
tell me I should expect the same outcomes as Leicester. I'm not gonna accept that because we've been winning titles. I'm not gonna go back into my standards, man. As a person, that's how I am, man. I'm sorry. People don't like it. They don't like it, man.
Hi. That's cool. We're all good. We're all friends here. We're all debating about football. We're all going to have disagreements. If we didn't have disagreements, football would be boring. Let's think of it like that, yeah? So it is what it is. But we've been going for
if me and you're in the same room, Kai, I'll give you a hug, man. Don't worry. Be all right. Be all right.
It's been an hour. Diana, I'm broken man. It's ruining my relationship with people, man. I'm literally ruining my relationship with my parents.
Wait. I want to tie it up now. It's been an hour. It's been a great show. We appreciate everyone that's been watching us. There will be a recap of this, which I'm sure Az will be making very soon, so you guys can catch up. The guys that haven't been watching. Kai, where can people find you, mate? Because I understand your YouTube channel is booming at the moment, isn't it?
Yeah, it's booming like crazy, man. I'm very happy with it. We had like something like as of today, it's like 70 subscribers in 1 week. So hopefully we keep going, man. We have something new with Indiana and other Chelsea fans. We're gonna have we're gonna have a top 6 show. We're gonna have the weekly Chelsea talk on my channel. We have a lot of stuff coming up, man. So if you guys are interested in the type of content that I do, banter, sometimes making fun of Prime, but all on friendship applies, So subscribe to my channel, man, and
definitely.
Let's make this thing work.
Get into that, man. Honestly, he's doing so much new stuff, and it's really going to take off. And yeah, we're looking forward to it. You'll see all of us on there definitely as well. And then we've got Indiana. Where can they find you, bro?
You can find the YouTube channel, the First XI, First 11. Go check that out. Friday Night Fraud Watch. Got a load of new shows coming up in the new year. So looking forward to those. Really am. And Twitter, you can see the Twitter handle is right down there.
Do you know what I miss, Indiana? I miss a Fraud Watch show. I feel like I've not had one in ages.
Yeah,
honestly.
Do you know what? It's my daughter's and my missus' birthday on Friday. They share a birthday. But Friday night we're doing Fraud Watch, so
sounds good.
They'll have to deal with that.
Definitely lots to talk about, for Fraud. Definitely.
Yeah.
Everyone tune in for that one because it's going to be a big show. And then
bro, I'm worried about Monster, man. Look how sad Monster is, man.
Monster CFC. Man. Where can they find you, bro? Smile. Come on, let's see that smile.
You've already said it. Monster CFC. Where else? No, do you know what it is? You know what it is? Yeah.
My man is tired, man.
You know what it is? A lot of people. I've just been getting so much abuse from.
Welcome
Chelsea,
to my life, man. I get it from Chelsea fans, Liverpool fans.
The thing is, if you don't agree with their opinion, you're a plastic, and it's like, bro, like some of you that are abusing me, that I've been supporting Chelsea before they were born. Do you know what I mean? Like,
don't worry about it, bro.
That's the problem with the fan base. If you don't agree with them, you're a plastic fan, bro. Like, I can't even be bothered to argue with you lot. Do you know what I mean? I'm just gonna keep ignoring a minute. You know what I mean?
Don't worry about it, bro.
All that shit they be listen to this. A guy, he messaged me one time to do to go on his podcast, and I did it. I went on his podcast. When he heard I was Chelsea out, he started threatening me.
Chelsea out, man.
Yeah, he started threatening me, and I was like, I just helped you. Number one, number two, these threats you're throwing at me. If I was to be in front of you, will you throw those? Balls, yeah. So I told him already, like, if I see you, make sure you carry out these threats. Do you know
just what you should do. Just take some time off of Twitter, man. Just let stuff cool down,
Yeah. Just maybe, but if he does it again, Monster, just tell us, innit? I'll get involved as well. Don't worry about it, bro. I don't have people doing shit like that. I hate people like that.
Jim's gonna get the Turkish mafia on their asses, man.
Honestly, Turkish mafia is around Monster's area, so it should be all good. I can just get someone around there, sort them out, man. It's cool. But anyway, people, thank you for tuning in. We appreciate you a load, and we will see you again very, very soon. Peace.
It's like he's playtime when it's